Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to show you this beautiful cut crease makeup look. I know I don't do a lot of cut crease, but I wanted to show you because I love the way it turned out, and I think this is a beautiful makeup to wear when you go to parties or wedding. It kind of gives you that glamour look. So I'm gonna get right into the tutorial. First thing, I'm going to start off working with my eyes. For that, I'm using my concealer by MAC in NC14 and NC10 to kind of, act as my base for my eyeshadow. I like to always set that with some translucent powder before I go ahead with my eyeshadow. For my eyeshadow today, I'm using Morphe eyeshadow. The first color I'm using, it's kind of like a light color that's going to sit right on my crease to make my crease area look more blended, like a transition kind of color. Next, and it doesn't look blended as of yet, but you will see what comes after. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to apply some concealer. As you see, I looked upwards because I wanted to create that line. That line is kind of like a guideline to show you how far your crease is going to go. In case you just doesn't know that, right? If you don't know where your crease is, this is a perfect way to find out, because you don't want to put eyeshadow on the lid and then later open your eyes and your crease is all messed up because all your eyeshadow from the lid has now transferred to the crease. So you want to make it look as sharp and crisp as possible. So that line kind of acts like a guideline. I just applied some eyeshadow on my lid. Now, taking my favorite brush, this MAC 212 is actually my favorite brush when doing cut crease because it has a very flat edge. So what I like to do is I take the color and kind of tap it on the line of the crease where I want, and then I kind of blend it upwards, right? Now remember, when you're doing cut crease, you don't have a lot of space between the crease and your brow bone. And if your eyebrows are like mine, very close to my cut crease, you don't have a lot of space. So that you want to make sure that it looks as blended as possible, right? Now here, I'm just going to apply some liner. For that, I'm using my MAC Black Track liner, the gel liner. But when you do cut crease, always remember eyeliner is the key. You want to make sure your eyeliner is on point. At the same time, you want to make sure that your eyeliner doesn't overlap the cut crease look. Unless you want to make that cut crease look like a moon shape, then that's fine. But if you want your cut crease to kind of line parallel to your eyeliner, you want to make sure you do that really nicely. Next, taking some glitter, I'm going to use this Wet n Wild glitter. This is in the shade Goldie, and I'm just applying that all over my lid. Next, I'm going to darken up my liner so my eyeliner looks black and crisp. Oh my gosh, I can't speak. Crisp, and for that I used my Sephora black eyeliner. Next, taking this Brows Ink by Benefit, I'm going to draw my brows in. With my eyebrows, I always like to start off with the bottom and then the outer parts, and then again work towards the inner corners. Just make sure that your inner part is always faded and the outer portion of your eyebrows is darkened enough. I do have a separate video on the eyebrows. I will link it down below for you guys to have a look. Next, for my face, I'm going to use my Nivea cream. This is the one in blue. That comes in a blue container, you know what I mean. I love this cream, and I think this is a perfect cream whenever you're applying makeup. I don't know, for some reason it sticks onto your skin a lot better. Next, I'm using this BB cream by MAC Cosmetics, and all the product details will be listed down below in the description box for you guys to have a look. Next, I'm going to use my MAC paint stick in shade Orange, and I'm going to apply that all over my hyperpigmented areas and my dark circles. This is actually going to help me hide those areas. And now moving on to my foundation, I'm going to be using MAC Mineralized Foundation. This is my first time actually applying this foundation. I have never used this foundation before, and this is very hydrating. And I'm so used to applying MAC foundations with a stippling brush, but for some reason, this foundation wasn't really applying too smoothly with a brush. For some reason the brush strokes were actually showing up on my skin, so you know what, I just gave up. I'm now going to just quickly apply it all over my face, and then I'm going to use a beauty blender to kind of blend that into my skin. I believe MAC Mineralized Foundation is a lot lighter version, so that's probably why the foundation wasn't drying right away and the strokes were showing. So I decided to go with my damp beauty blender. Next, I'm going to be using MAC Longwear Concealer in shade NC30. And I'm going to apply that on the higher points of my face. So once I'm done with the application, I'm going to use my damp beauty blender again to blend that into my skin. I just feel like concealers always blends really well with a beauty blender, but if you would like to get the full coverage effect of a concealer, always go in with the brush. Once the blending is done, I'm going to now take my Anastasia Beverly Hills loose powder in shade Banana, and I'm going to dab that all over my face. And I always like to start it off with my under eyes, because you need to set your under eyes before you move onto your other parts of the face, just because you don't want that foundation to kind of crease up on the under eyes. And now, taking my NC42 Studio Fix powder, I'm going to apply that powder all over my face to ensure that I have covered all the areas and I've set all the concealers and foundation. Now I'm going to use some setting spray. This is by MAC Cosmetics. And next, moving on to my contour slash bronzing, I'm going to be using my Hoola Bronzer by Benefit Cosmetics. Here I'm just lightly dusting the powder on the both sides of my nose, just to make sure it looks snatched and, you know, contoured. But at the same time, my nose is not that out of shape, so I don't really contour that much. But if you guys want a contouring, like nose contouring video specifically made for you guys, I can definitely do it. Let me know down on the comment. Now I'm just using that same dark deep teal color, and I'm just, you know, applying that on my lower part of my eyes. Moving on to my highlighter, I'm going to be using Oh Darling by MAC, and I'm just going over on the higher points of my face, you know, like my cheekbones. Not cheekbones, sorry. It is cheekbones, right? I think so, anyways. Basically on the higher points of the face. The tip of my nose, the bridge of my nose, my cupid's bow, and everywhere where the light kind of hits. Next, I'm going to be using a MAC blush. This blush palette, the bottom section is totally like broken, as you can see here, right? But I'm going to take this pink color, the light pink in the middle, and this is called Fleur Pink. I'm going to apply that all over my cheeks, but obviously MAC, as you can tell, MAC blushes are very, very pigmented, so make sure you just apply and right away you blend it. Good thing about this blush, it blends really well. It doesn't look like a chalk or like a blotch of paint or powder on your face. It blends right away and it looks really nice. So MAC blushes are actually one of my favorite, just because it blends like a cream so beautifully. Next, I'm applying some mascara. For that, I'm using Benefit Bad Girl Bang. And moving on to my lashes. These are Kiss lashes. The details that I'm missing out as I'm saying this, just make sure to look into the description box. All the details will be written there for you guys to have a look. So that's it. I'm gonna just pop in some more lashes on my other eyes, and once the eye makeup is done, it's time to move on to the next step. Now moving on to the lipstick, I'm going to be using this Retro Matte by MAC Cosmetics, and it is in the shade Dance With Me. I love this because it has a beautiful maroon shade to it that looks not too dark for my skin tone but not too red, so it's just the perfect color Like when you call a maroon shade, this is, I think, is a beautiful maroon shade. And that's it, guys. This is the final look. I'm just gonna do my hair now real quick, and I'll show you what I'm going to do with my hair. So what I did here is I made sure that I have a little bun at the back, and then I took the front hair and kind of curled it, tucked in on this side and pinned in some like rows on this side, and then I curled the other side as well. You can pin both sides if you want. I try to leave one side out just because it frames my face really well. You could keep the makeup like this and wear your black dress and go on a beautiful date night, because I think this makeup is beautiful and you can wear that on a beautiful date, or even with a black dress or a red dress. This makeup look kind of reminds me of a very Spanish makeup look. I don't know why. I guess it's because of the hairstyle that I did. So it could be because of that. So this is what it looks like. Now it's time to wear some jewelries and make it look more Indian and, you know, like bridalish. So these jewelries are by Ash Creations. They are actually located on Brampton, Ontario, so you can always go to their store and see their collection. But I was lucky enough to, you know, kind of borrow their jewelries for this makeup look, so here it is. The jewelries sort of have the similar color to the makeup, as you can see. So the makeup was pretty much inspired by this jewelry. It has those maroon beads on the bottom, and as you can see, the green and the pastel color is right there in the jewelry. So this is what the final look of the makeup look looks like. So you can totally wear this makeup look for an Indian wedding, a party, or like, you know, like going to a wedding party, or even if you're a bride, you can totally rock this makeup look. This makeup look is very, very versatile, and I think you can wear it with even a dress without the jewelry and make it look very classy and sassy, you know, and all that. But definitely it's a very dramatic, because I have never done cut crease, so this is like, I wouldn't say I have never done cut crease, but I've done cut crease, but not as many times as I've done other makeup look or eye makeup looks. Cut crease is something I don't do that often, but when I do it, I really love the way it looks. Now next, I'm just doing this for fun. You can also do it. I do have a little mole there, but it always goes hidden underneath all that foundation, so I'm just gonna create that mole so it kind of gives that original look to my face, kind of like a Marilyn Monroe style, you know, kind of, I don't know, too fancy, right? But yeah, that is the makeup look, guys. I hope you guys have enjoyed this tutorial. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe.